there's definitely nervousness in terms of tariffs and what that's going to mean. But I actually believe it's really about demand. I mean, demand is more robust when it comes to chips, AI revolution, NVIDIA, than it was 4 months ago.
Does
last time we were
Wedbush
there.
model out a 5% China GDP as President Xi talked about? Does that diffuse across the Pacific Rim?
Look, I think ultimately a stronger China, more stimulus, is more bullish for Apple. It's more bullish for Tesla in terms of everything we see in China. It's just how important those markets are.
Paul, Apple or Tesla first? You make the call.
I'll go Tesla. Tesla sales fall 76% in Germany amid Musk electioneering. That's the Bloomberg headline. We've seen that in other markets as well. As an analyst who's followed this company from day one and you model out demand, how frustrating is it for you to see some of these sales numbers and you're like, we really don't need to see those kinds of sales numbers. What's he doing?
Look, well, first off, I mean, 70% of it is actually really more refreshes inventory year-over-year comp. So the numbers sound scary, white knuckle, but the reality is probably about 10 to 15% of what's going on is what I'll call Musk brand deterioration, Doge relate. But no doubt, look, we just continue to view it as the bet for the ages for Musk is on Trump. Deregulatory, autonomous, that continues to be, that's the goal. That's, I think, worth $1 trillion.
Have we gotten the market away from making cars? So is it about AI? Is it about autonomous? Is it about robot? Has he been successful in shifting the focus away from making cars?
Look, I think 90% of the value of Tesla going forward is Optimus autonomous rather than actual vehicle.
Really? Wow.
Is there evidence that's a revenue and profit reality for them, or is that technology and innovation?
It's a great question.
Talk.
It's a great look. FSD today, 15% of Teslas in terms of owners have full self-driving. That gets to 50% numbers.
Is there evidence it will get to 50%?
And I believe
I got people, Dan Ives, in New York canceling Ubers that are Teslas. They don't want to drive an Elon Musk's car. There's people putting black on the label. Germany, as Paul mentions, Europe rather, it's fallen off a cliff. Do you see a management away from a distracted Musk going, let's fix this, or does it fester?
I think as wild in the near term, I think it's contained. In other words, we're talking, call it low single digit as a contained issue. Look, is it a risk, especially given what we're seeing in terms of some of the worries in Europe and especially in the U.S.? But it all comes down to they are going to own the autonomous race in the U.S. and I believe ultimately globally. And for Musk, when you view even some of the brand worries and deteriorations, I view it almost as near-term noise relative to the longer-term sort of value in the story.
How about just in terms of time spent? Part of the bullish case for Tesla over the years was it's a bet on Elon Musk, and that is a great bet to make. I don't know what the number is, but it feels like 50, 60, 70, 80% of his time and effort is down in Washington. So does that in and of itself take away from the Tesla story?
Look, perception's reality, right? So I think that is also playing into what's happening in the stock because the view is like he's not dialed in Tesla, he's just focused in DC. But I do believe that that's not true. I do believe he's...
Okay, I got 400 back to 273. I got a trading range off COVID that's banded between 200 and 300 to be polite. Do you have is there a Dan Ives price where you pull the cord?
Well, I mean, this thing... At these levels, and it gets into the mid 200s, I believe it is generational in terms of this type of sell-off where I ultimately see Tesla over the coming year. I think Tesla's going to be a $2 trillion market cap.